Hey, Based LDS viewers, this is your boy BC, and have I got an absolute gem of a story for you today? There is a 16-year-old in Canada that it seems for several weeks has been fighting the good fight against the alphabet ideology invading their school. What makes this story special is he's a Baptist attending a Catholic high school in Canada. And you're going to say, well, what did this kid do? Well, this absolute bigot stood up and said, there are two genders, and then quoted some scripture. And the Catholic school board said, how dare you, sir? You bigot. So I'm just going to jump to the news story. There's only a couple places I could find this, and I went with EWTN because I believe they're a Catholic news channel. So I want to hear what a Catholic news channel has to say about this kid's story. So here we go.
A student at St. Joseph's High School in Ontario, Canada, was arrested and charged with trespassing for attempting to take part in his classes. This after Josh Alexander says that he was suspended for organizing school protests against biological males in girls' bathrooms. He says that he also argued in class that God created two unchangeable genders. His lawyer says the school accused him of bullying transgender students. And joining us now is Josh Alexander. Josh, a pleasure to have you with us. Okay, so walk us through what happened at your school. We know that you spoke out in class about gender issues, but what exactly did you say and what happened next?
Well, that was his first crime, right? Speaking out in school. You're not supposed to do that. Come on.
Yeah, thank you for having me on. So, yeah, the entire issue basically started when I moved to the Catholic board. I used to be in the public board, and very quickly I was informed by female students that male students were using the female washrooms. This is an issue that came up in the class debate, and I used that platform to share my opinions, as every other student had the opportunity to do. And I quoted some scripture. I said that there's only two genders, and apparently because there was transgender students in those classes, that was considered bullying. And
Kid runs for a school board. I'm assuming if he's on the board, he's elected, and that's why these females at his school are going to him, because he's on the student council, school board. He voices his concerns, citing scripture at a Catholic high school, and says there are two genders. And they say, how dare you, you bigot? You're a bully.
I went beyond the classroom, and I took it to the office, and I said, okay, this is an issue. There's female students that are uncomfortable. Something needs to be done. And I was ignored. A female student made the same complaint I did, and they ignored her as well. So at that point, I decided to organize a protest outside my school. And 2 days before the protest, they suspended me indefinitely. And then
A female student complained to the board as well. Bigots. Bigots everywhere.
They permanently banned me from 2 of my classes. And when I attended those classes, they suspended me again and then excluded me twice. And at the end of the semester, on the first day of the new semester, I decided to return to school and try to recover my credits and actually get an education. And yeah, they arrested me.
They were educating you, you bigot. They were educating you that you're wrong. Scripture's wrong. You can't trust scripture at a Catholic high school.
That is unbelievable. You know, it's important for us to note, though, we did reach out to the school to get their side. However, they actually declined to comment on this matter. That said, we know that your lawyer says, and we mentioned that the school is accusing you of bullying transgender students. What do you say to that?
Well, my issue was never with the individual student, and I made that very clear with both my on my social media in person and on my media responses.
Now, let me be clear. Here's where we get serious for a minute. Here's where I think he did right. He's not targeting or harassing these individuals. This goes back to something Elder Packer talked about in my last video, where I read the talk from Elder Packer from 1993. This kid, in his Baptist way, understands the plan of redemption, and he's not attacking these people, but he is teaching doctrine. He's citing the scriptures and testifying. That's it. That's this kid's crime. And he won't just sit down and take what they tell him to take. Your kids know right from wrong, but they need to be held safe from that social media bubble that's destroying their minds. And this kid, look at this kid. Clean cut, hard work. Look at the way he was dressed in the earlier picture. I'm not going to go back because I'm going to lose my spot. But blue jeans, collared shirt. This kid's probably a farm kid out in the middle of nowhere, Canada. He's not any different than the kids I work with at the school here in South Dakota. They all work on farms and ranches, and their dads and their moms work hard. They put food on the table. They understand hard work and values. But you can still see the shift because of social media and current trends. He ran on a platform of no transgender, and he won. And the school says, oh well. And the kids, the women went to the school. The school said, I don't care. Then they went to this kid who's on the board because they knew he would listen. And he's doing his job. And he's more a man than these teachers are at the Catholic high school. He will stand up and defend his students. He will watch out for the integrity of these girls in their own bathroom. This man's an absolute hero. I don't know what he's like at home. I could be wrong about everything. Just looking at this code, I could be wrong about everything about him. But if this is what he does in public, if this is how he stands and addresses himself, organized protests over boys, biological boys using the girls' bathroom. They don't belong there. And this kid is an absolute Chad in standing up for those girls. And they will remember this. And his community will know who this man is. This boy has a future. As long as he keeps on a straight and narrow, as long as he holds on to some sort of faith, I say hooray for this boy.
My issue wasn't with the individual student. I have an issue with a system that is going to encourage this form of misbehavior. And I do sympathize with the confused transgender students because they've been wronged by their parents and by society and by the education system that has pushed this indoctrination on them. But
now, does this sound like a bigot and a bully to you? He's not mad at the kids. Just like we shouldn't be mad at the individuals passing through this stuff. But we should wonder what put them in this frame of mind, what put them in this state, and attack that. And that's why we need to come after some of these ideologies that are out there convincing your kids to neuter themselves. Anti-family. And this is sponsored by a Catholic school. In freedom-loving Canada, no freedom of religion.
But at the same time, that doesn't mean I'm going to condone their wrongful behavior, especially when it's a violation of my female peers' privacy. So I'll continue to stand up.
Yeah, and also, the school that you go to is Catholic, but transgender ideology is not in line with Catholic teaching. I'm curious, did anybody at the school ever talk about this or teach this in class?
Oh, the gender ideology that gets pushed by the Catholic board is incredible. I had teachers telling me and the entire classroom that male breastfeeding is okay and it's normal and it's natural. And
it's not breastfeeding, you bigot, it's chest feeding. Male breastfeeding is natural. I know the comments are. The science. Trust the science. What's the science in male breastfeeding? Come on.
And actually, one of the allegations that's being held against me until this day is that I said male breastfeeding is pedophilia. So that kind of shows you where the Catholic board's at right now.
Oh, that's all.
You know, Josh, I'm curious, how has this all impacted you? I mean, at the end of the day, you're still a 16-year-old boy, and none of this can be easy on you. And what's happening with your education?
Well, as of right now, I don't really have much of an education. They've offered me some online stuff, but I was actually the organizer of the student walkers across Canada during the Freedom Convoy against the online learning and against the mask mandates and all that. So I'm certainly not going to accept this form of inferior education. So,
Wow. How about that little nugget? Remember when the truckers showed up in Ottawa and shut everything down and Trudeau called them menaces and terrorists? This kid helped to organize that along the lines of the online schooling that was bad for students. We need more of these guys. This kid's a Canadian Baptist Captain Moroni as far as I'm concerned. I'm not going to lie. A lot of your kids out there know this stuff is junk. But they won't stand up because they don't want to separate themselves and they don't want to stand out. Because it's hard. But this is a good young man who knows what he stands for and where he's at. And he's facing a godly direction. There's no way he means any ill will towards these transgender students. But the feelings and the emotional state of 4, 5, 6, something like that, kids, outweighs the entire female population of the school who want to attend a bathroom without a biological male being there. Think about that. They are not listening to the voices of their students and the parents on this. In the issue of tolerance and diversity, probably. You know that's what they're teaching up. You know that's what they're hearing.
I demand to be in person in class because all I've done is exercise my freedom of expression. But I mean, I get a lot of hate messages, and there's a lot of people that hate me. But at the same time, I don't really care. I did what I believe is right and what's right before God. So at the end of the day, I'm happy with that.
Yeah, you're strong.
There it is. This kid was arrested by the police for going to school after being suspended. And it sounds like the suspension was what? Indefinite? Like he can never go to school again? He's like, what about my education? Maybe I'll go today and try because it's a new semester. New semester, right? Start the new page, flip the script. Nah, son, you done trespassed. Cuffed up and gone. Brothers and sisters, I know. I've got a daughter that I worry about to no end. I've got 2 stepchildren who are a little older, and I still worry about you. As a parent, what? You worry for your whole life, right? Just because they move out don't mean you stop worrying. And then you get to worry about grandkids at some point. I don't even want to think about that right now. I got a 10-year-old daughter in school, and I fear for the things that she's going to run up against. And I am glad we're in the community we're in, because they don't play with this stuff. They don't. But they're still creep, right? This kid is standing up, and he's standing strong, and he's not afraid to be heard. How many of us will do the same when the time comes? How many of us will risk job? How many of us will risk reputation? How many of us will risk people saying bad things about us? Bring that heat, far as I'm concerned. That's why part of this channel is going. Brothers and sisters, pray for this man and pray for others to come up like him. Pray that your kids and your grandkids will come up like him. Pray that should the time come, you will stand like him. And you will speak for truth, and you will speak for virtue and integrity. I do wish the best for these kids who are transgender in this school. I do hope that somebody stops them before they go too far and they ruin the rest of their lives. The ability to have kids, have families, to have normal functioning physical bodies. Read these things that these people are going through. It's a tragedy. I had to bite my tongue there because I want to say something else. It is a tragedy what these kids are going through and what's being foisted upon them by the left. Pray for this young man. Pray for your kids. God bless. Thank you for watching. Peace. Thank you.